Hey guys, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I vermicompost with worms. Basically composting with worms using the worms poop as fertilizer. And I know there's many different ways of composting with worms, like the worm towers and like the stacked bins, but the way I'm going to show you is how I've been effectively doing it for 3 years. It is very simple, very effective, and does not cause a headache. So let's show you. The way I'm going to show you is a really effective way that I make compost. This is how it looks like. It's very crumbly. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's dark and rich in microbial activity. Has a bunch of good fungi and very good bacteria. Super good for water retention and drainage, amending your soil. Like, man, it does it all. Pest resistance against nematodes. We don't like those. Overall, this is why I love it, because it's super easy to just make at home, and you can just reuse your food scraps. And even if you don't even want to make compost, you just want to reuse your food scraps, you can just give your compost to your neighbor. Someone will take it. Someone will take this black gold. But yeah, let me show you actually how to get started and maintaining from start to finish. This right here is a 12-gallon, and this is the tote bin I was using in my apartment, and I found that it was a little bit too small. So if I were to recommend a size, I would definitely go for a 15-gallon, no smaller, if you're in an apartment. I also made sure that the tote was dark, and I also very much liked that it had a clip so nothing can get in, nothing can get out. But yeah. And this right here is an 18-gallon, and I feel like this is a really good size to have like multiple worm bins in. This is what I had before in my other house, which was, I think, a really good size. The only downside was that it did not have a clip, and I really wish I would have known that then. But for the sake of this video, we are actually going to be using this one. And as you can see, I have holes, 1/4-inch holes, all the way around the tote bin. And as you can also see, I do not have any holes on the bottom, and that is because I don't like to. I tried it before, and the worms would just come out, and it was just a big mess. And I realized that as long as I can control the moisture inside the bin, it was working. So I'm actually going to show you later, once I start putting all the material inside the bin, how you're going to control the moisture. Also, one last thing to add, I don't want you to confuse the leachate that comes out of the bin for worm tea. So disclaimer, I didn't actually mean leachate coming out of your bin. I just necessarily meant, like, if you've seen a video before with holes on the bottom of a bin and you saw like the leachate coming out, or if your friend has told you before that you can actually use leachate as worm tea, you will not be seeing the leachate in your bin, because you are going to be maintaining the moisture in there. Stay with me. I know it's a big misconception, but leachate is actually anaerobic. It is full of bad bacteria. It is not really good for your plants. Whereas worm tea is a whole brewing process where you literally brew the worm castings, and you get like a bubbler. It's a whole process. But yeah, leachate, not it. But we're actually going to start. I'm going to show you all the materials that I have, and we're going to just get it going.
For my bedding, I have a combination of cardboard and peat moss, my crushed eggshells, compost, food scraps, my water, and my tote bin.
First thing we're going to be doing is actually adding our browns.
For my bedding, I am using cardboard with a mix of peat moss. I like to integrate cardboard or any other type of element when I'm using peat moss or coconut coir
just because I find that when I use peat moss or coconut coir by itself, it becomes a little too dense later when the food decomposes and I have worm castings and there's not enough aeration. This is just how I like to do it personally, but of course you can go back to the guide and you can look at all the different bedding elements that I have provided, and you can either mix them up like I just did, or you can just do one at a time and just see if that works for you. You can obviously experiment with different types of bedding and see what works best in your environment. This right here is the type of consistency I am going for. It's quite damp, but it's not wet. It is like the right mixture of water and bedding. And right now I'm going to show you exactly what to look for when you're ready for step 2. So it is a very good moist consistency. So if I get like a good handful and I squeeze, there's nothing that comes down like water, but it holds its shape. And that is what we're going for. That is going to make sure that your bin is not very wet. It is a very good moist control environment. And I think we are ready for the next step. Right here, I am laying down my food scraps. In a bigger bin, ideally, I would do one side, and next time I would feed, I would alternate which side I feed on. So the next time I would feed on the left-hand side. And as you just saw, I just put down crushed eggshells. That just helps the worms grind down food particles since they lack teeth. And it also helps as a buffer if your pH in the bin is a little off. Next, I am adding the worms along with compost. I am adding them from another bin, but go ahead if you are just putting down your brand new set of worms from that bag. Just put them in there along with compost and they'll be just fine. Then I added more browns on top. And I did not wet them, I did not moisten them, they are dry, and that is just to kind of soak up the moisture that is let down from the food scraps that I will be adding consistently over the next couple weeks. I did add wet paper on top for an extra layer of protection. You can also just add dry cardboard and it'll just be fine. And that's it, guys.